Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the part 2 Let's Play Dark Souls 2, hosted by me, Fireheart2K. Alright guys, so in this part, I am going to be going up the giant ladder that's up over there, in that gigantic tree, and heading over to go get my new weapon that I'll be using for most of the early game, the Heide Knight sword. And then after that, I'll be exploring around more of the area of the Forest of Tall Trees after I kill this little piece of shit. There we go. So before I get off though, in the last part I went over the basic statistics screen really quick over here, and I explained how these different stats and attributes work. And then I also showed the opening area of Majula, including some where the hidden Estus Flask shard is that you can use to level up your Estus Flask to gain an additional use. Alright, so in this part though, let's head off and go get my Heide Knight sword. So I am going to skip these guys because we've already fought them. We fought them in the last part. So I'm just going to roll past this dude and kill him really quickly. After, of course, I take a little bit of damage. These guys actually will not follow you up if you just climb the ladder, so you don't really have to worry about them once you get up the ladder. The hollows are pretty dumb. Alright, but as soon as you get up to this area, you're going to have to move pretty quickly, because there actually are a lot of guys. Now, the Axeman is actually pretty dangerous. He has that leaping attack that he can use against you, and that can be pretty effective. Alright, but once you kill these three guys, there will be... Oh, you followed me up. Usually they don't do that. Okay, well... Let's see, is the other guy going to come up? No, he's not. Okay, so just one guy followed me up. Now, this guy right here, this knight who's sitting down, is actually the first Heide Knight you will run into. And it is by killing him that I will be gaining the Heide Knight sword. But I'm not going to do that just yet. There are a couple of pests that I need to kill first, including that archer up there. So before I do that, I'm going to go around and get all these items. And there is a guy who is fainting being dead right here. You want to get rid of this guy because if you moved close to him, he will actually get up immediately and try to attack you. And you don't want to have any distractions when you're fighting the Heide Knight, because the Knight is pretty strong, at least in my opinion. He can cause you a little bit of trouble. He's not too bad, but he moves pretty quickly, does a lot of damage, and he's a little tough for early game people who are playing the game for the first time. Alright, so there are these two guys here. You can kill them pretty easily, though, if you just start swinging at them. Now, before you jump down here to go for the archer instinctively, make sure you go up to this area and grab this soul that's sitting up on this guy. Okay. And now this archer is going to... Oh, he led me on. You bastard. I'm going to kill you. Alright. So I've now killed him. Now there is a soul, item over here. Now this item doesn't really concern me that much, because if you pick it up, you will notice it is a Soul of the Lost Undead, which I do need, but also a short sword. You don't really need a short sword if you're playing as the knight class, because you start out as a broadsword, and the short sword actually, if we look at it, it does less damage than my current item, so we don't really need it. Alright, I am going to use an Estus Flask really quickly to regen my HP before I go fight the Heide Knight. And now that we've cleared out all the enemies here and my item has a good amount of durability, which means it'll last pretty much throughout the entire fight, we can fight this guy and gain his sword. I really want the Heide Knight sword because this is a very good item, and it also will pretty much last you for most of the early and mid game, depending on if you want a new item. Now, he won't actually attack you at first, so you actually will have the jump on him. So I'm actually going to hit him about 3 times. And then after that, he will swing at you, and try to do a counter swing. Now, the Heide Knight, he has a 1, a 2, and a 3-hit combo, and he'll start like that with that first swing. It's the same swing every time, and it can be a little confusing, so you need to keep an eye out and be aware that he may try to hit you 2 or 3 times. He usually doesn't use his 3-hit combo until he gets his health down a little bit longer. Now, but luckily, since I have the stone ring, I actually can reduce his poise a lot more easily, which means I can knock him off balance. And it is pretty easy to dodge his first attack. And he does have that, which is a really good counter. And you want to be careful for that attack, because that can do quite a lot of damage. And right there, that was going to be a 3-hit combo. But I managed to kill him. That was very funny, because usually the Heide Knight kills me the first time around. I'm actually doing a lot better than I did the first time when I played this. Alright, so now, by equipping the Heide Knight sword, you guys will notice 2 things. So, you need 10 dexterity to wield this item. Originally, I had 8 dexterity, which is why I leveled my dexterity up to level 11, right as I was able to, because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be able to wield this item. It also requires 11 strength, okay? And now some important things to note about the Heide Knight sword is that, for one, it has a lightning attack, which this lightning attack is very nice because when you equip the lightning ability to it, you will actually notice you get an extra, so you get 75 physical damage every attack and also 50 lightning damage, plus a little bit of extra because of your stats. That's what the plus 41 and the plus 18 are. This is really good, especially early game, because enemies will always have a little bit of physical resistance, but not every enemy has lightning resistance, which means you will do consistently more damage to every enemy you fight with the Heide Knight sword. It's very nice. Also, with this sword, it actually has a lot more durability than other items, meaning you can stay in the fight longer without worrying about it breaking. It actually has 70 durability, as opposed to the broadswords, which is 60. So the extra 10 can actually make a big difference in the long run. Okay, so now that we're done with that, let's go through the... Actually, no, we forgot one thing. There is one item that you can get by making a little bit of a leap of faith over here. You can see it right there. And I'm going to start from about right here. This should be all you need. And I'm going to hop, and I fucked up. Alright, I done effed up, guys. Alright, well, I did say I was bad at this game. Okay, alright, well, we're gonna come back to the bonfire. Look how beautiful I look now, folks. It looks so nice. Alright, well, let's, yeah, okay. That was pretty great. Okay, well, you can get some pretty funny things that'll happen to you in Dark Souls if you fall. You guys will notice I'm doing a lot more damage now with the addition of the Heide Knight sword, so it is definitely a very good item that you should always pick up if you're playing as a sword wielding class. Okay, and this guy is coming to get me. Oh no, he's coming to get me. Oh. Hi guys. Oh, I missed. So there's actually quite a lot of hollows we have to deal with right now, but I'm going to drag them into here so they're all bottlenecked for me. And I'll be taking a lot of damage in the process. That's okay. Alright. And now they are all dead, which means I don't have to worry about them anymore. Okay, so now let's make this leap of faith without messing up. Oh, no! What the fuck? The jump button didn't work. Oh, Jesus. What the... Alright. Alright, let's see how many times I can die. I really need to put a death counter into this game, because that actually would be very... So I've died twice now? Okay. So my first 2 deaths were actually from falling, and not from being killed. You guys will notice, though, like I was talking about, you can see I have less maximum health now, and that is actually how the hollow system works. So every time you die, you lose a certain percentage of your health, and you will keep losing percentages of your max health until you actually hit 50% of your max health, and then you won't be able to lose anymore. But, I mean, obviously you'll be significantly weaker because you only have 50% of your maximum HP. And the only way to restore that is by becoming a human again, with a human effigy. Okay. Alright. Now let's make sure we don't mess this up this time. Because I have never messed this up twice. Maybe once. What the fuck? What am I doing? Oh my god. Alright. Well, at least I didn't die that time. I'm gonna get rid of you really quickly. At least I'm being able to grind some souls, though. I guess that's useful. I've actually never fallen this many times at this. This is weird as heck. Because you're supposed to be able to... Okay. Come on. Kareth, you can do this. You've done this like a million times before. And there we go. Okay. Woo! Alright, 3rd time's a charm. Actually, no, that was 4 times. Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay, alright, so now that we've done that, let's go hop on down here and head on up to the next area. Now, one thing I did forget to mention, which I will mention after I kill this crap, there we go, is, okay, so if we go up here to our equipment, you notice that every item has its certain equipment requirements, but it also has this thing where it's got a little power icon, which is strength, and it also has a dexterity icon with a letter next to it. This is called the item scaling. Now what this does is that it makes it so every item has different attribute scaling. So some weapons will be that are reliant more on strength will have a B or even A weapon strength scaling, and then they'll have less dexterity, or vice versa. And what this does is it basically means that the more dexterity and the more strength you have, over time, the more this item will gain more damage. Because this item scales with your strength and dexterity. That's what this is. This is just basic scaling, okay? So by investing more points into strength and dexterity, for instance, with the Heide Knight, I will gain more damage with this weapon gradually. Which, in some cases, so for instance, if I were to use the Demon's Great Hammer, I would actually gain more attack power than I usually would with the Heide Knight sword if I were to put more points into strength, because this weapon has B strength scaling. That's basically what it is. The higher the letter is, the closer it is to letter A, the more damage you get from investing more points. Okay, now let's go up here. And I will be turning myself back into a human, but not until the next bonfire. Just because it's kind of pointless right now. Being a human doesn't really give you that many benefits. It does give me more HP, which, considering I've lost a little bit of my HP, that might be nice. But I don't really need it right now. Okay, so in this area, you can go two different directions. You can go over here or over here. You don't want to go this way, though, because in this direction, there's actually an axeman waiting for you right around the corner, and he'll pretty much always hit you unless you roll around him. If you go in here, there will be two enemies, which you can kill pretty quickly. Usually you want to kill this axeman first, but I just went for this guy just because. And then if you actually hit this, you can go behind here and grab some wooden bolts, which you can use with a crossbow that you'll gain later. And then now that we've done that, we've actually got the upper hand on this axeman. Alright, so now after you've killed those guys, you're going to run into your first new enemy. This is going to be the Armored Swordsman. Now this guy can do a lot more damage, and his attack patterns are a lot worse in comparison to the other guys. And by worse, I mean they can do more damage. He has a 2 and a 3 hit combo. Now, the one thing you have to be wary with the swordsman with, and I'll show you later, is that he has an attack combo where he'll swing twice, and then he'll kind of lazily pull his sword back up and hit. So when he does that, make sure you get in before he swings his sword down a third time, or just wait till he's done, because it's designed to make it so you think he's done if he's done attacking you, but he's really not. Just be careful about that. So up here, there's an archer. There's also a guy up there who's going to be throwing fire bombs at you as soon as you get up. And then there's also one more soldier who's going to be to the right. So I'm just going to rush up here. There's not really any strategy behind this. You just kind of rush up. Just make sure not to get hit by the fire bomb. It does a decent amount of damage. Just kill these goons first. Okay? And then once you get close enough to the knight, he'll actually stop throwing the fire bombs at you. I just didn't get close enough before he started his next attack animation. That's why I got hit. And there's also one guy hiding behind here. Just kill him. And then if you go to this guy, you can grab a buckler. Buckler is going to be one of your first shields you can get in the game. Buckler is okay. It gives you 75 defense, and then 75 physical defense, and then a decent amount of defense for most magic abilities and things like that, but it's not really worth it. You also need 13 dexterity to wield it, so keep that in mind. Most shields need a decent amount of dexterity to wield them, so make sure you get your dexterity up to at least, I would say, 15 or so. But for me, at least, I usually only need a maximum of 20 to wield what I want to wield in this game. So this guy actually looks like he's sleeping at first, but then as soon as you loot this body, he'll actually spring up and try to attack you. Now, I just picked up a witching urn, so that is actually a usable attack item. If we go here, we can pick up the witching urn. It actually explodes to deal magical damage. It's actually quite a nice item. It can definitely be used for some nice long-range attacks later. You fling it at your enemies to do massive amounts of damage. Alright, so once we open this gate, we are going to run into our next bonfire. So let's rest at this bonfire here. We're going to light it and then take a nap. Alright. And then you can see this like creepy looking old woman with this huge thing on her back. Now this lady actually is really good. If you talk to her, she will sell you the key to the blacksmith hut that you need. And also, if you talk to her and exhaust all of her dialogue options, she will actually leave this area later in the game and come back to Majula and give you a discount on her wares, which is very nice. So make sure you do that. All the old people in this game are very creepy, though. So if you talk to her, you can buy a hand axe, a broken straight sword, a club, and also a custis, which is basically their knuckles, essentially. You can also buy the traveling merchant garb, and this may not seem that good, but actually if you equip the... what is it? There we go. If you equip the Traveling Merchant hat, it actually raises your item discovery chance, which means there's a higher chance you'll get more items from enemies from killing them. It's not a bad item, but it's not a bad piece of equipment at all. Some people get it. I usually don't, just because I think it's a waste of souls and I don't really need the extra item discovery chance. Now, once we go take a look over here, you guys will notice that you can actually buy a soul arrow and also a heal. Both of these are very useful. I believe clerics start out with the heal ability, so this actually isn't very useful for clerics, but if you want to get the heal ability later, you can always buy it from this woman. Soul arrow is also really good. If you buy it, you'll be able to get an extra 30 uses of soul arrow, so if you're a mage or a caster in the game, buying soul arrow from her is never a bad idea. Alright, but from her, the thing I'm actually going to buy is I'm actually going to buy a Pharaoh's Lockstone, and I'm also going to buy a Leningrass Key and 1 Firebomb, because you will sometimes get Firebombs from enemies dropping them, but sometimes it doesn't happen, and I'm going to need the Firebomb later for something, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. Alright, so now that we've done that, and we've bought all I need, I'm actually going to be using a human effigy, and I'll show you guys what to do with the Pharaoh's Lockstones later. You actually won't find any uses for them in the very beginning of the game, but they do actually have a lot of uses, and they can be used to, they can be put inside walls and things like that, where in specific spots. You guys, they'll be marked clearly so you won't miss them, and I'll also show you what they look like later in the game. And then what you can do with them, you put them in the wall, and usually to reveal hidden areas and things like that. It's very nice. Alright, so once you get to this area, you have 2 options. You can go over here and jump down, and you can fight some low-level enemies and get some stuff. Or you can go down over here, down in this pit over here, and go and explore a completely different area. You will notice there are some stairs up here, but there's only a locked door to meet you, and you have to actually get a key to open it later. So I'm not going to be dealing with that right now since I can't go there. Usually I go this way first, but just for the sake of having more action, I'm going to go down here. So we're going to go down this little pit here. And this pit is actually where you have your first boss, but you have to get behind this door first. So if you go over here, you'll notice there are 2 guys. There's one sitting down. You want to try to kill him as quickly as possible, otherwise you'll get double teamed by them. So this guy has a 3-hit combo, like I was talking about. He has those 2 slow attacks, and then he swings his pole axe really slowly over his head, and that can do a lot of massive damage, and depending on your armor, it actually can knock you to the ground. So once we go over here, you'll notice there's another hollow lying on the ground. Again, this is another trick the developer's trying to do to try to sneak attack you. If you see a hollow like this lying on the ground and you're not sure if they're alive or dead, you can either just swing at them just to make sure, or run up to them, and if your body gets blocked by them, like you see my guy is, you know he's alive and he's going to probably try to ambush you at some point. So you can do that, either of those 2 things, to try to prevent yourself from being ambushed. So I'm going to kill him, and then grab this and gain a soul of the lost undead. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's go in here. Now there is an enemy off to the right here, so you want to make sure you deal with him. So just go behind him, hit him a couple times, and I actually got a back attack. That was good. Not very useful considering I've pretty much already killed him, but you know, I'll take what I can get. Now over here there is a door that you can access, but if you guys notice, it actually has the same design as the other door that was near upstairs by the by the bonfire. So this door is actually locked as well, and we can't go in there right now. So let's enter through this creepy mist and head on to the next area. Alright guys, so we are going to explore this area. You can see it looks a little tougher. There's a lot of enemies around, and it looks like some kind of, there's some heights that we're going to have to parkour through a little bit, and that is true. But this is going to be a very fun area to explore. So once I kill this little piece of crap, we're going to be ending this part for today. There we go. Alright guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed this part 2. Let's play Dark Souls 2, and thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all again later.